I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is Taco Boy AJ. We're coming at you with Season 6, Episode 8, The Butchers of Bosnia Introduction Episode. We're in the Spick and Span studio, so strap in and find us on Instagram at PointsOPressure. Get ready.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
See, I thought you were going to go for Taco Muncher, AJ, but that's what I was hoping you would say.
Well, initially I had clean laundry, AJ. Because
that's still
for
drying.
the first time. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for the first time.
For the first time I've
since
seen
I started
him
nursing school.
next to the washing machine.
Hell yeah. See, I was watching my favorite podcast that I'm not going to name off. And
Pressure Points.
Besides Pressure Points. And they always eat in the microphone, so I thought you guys would like that.
No.
I'm not going to do that,
I
but
hate that so
I am going to
much.
be eating.
Oh, no. Okay. No worries.
yeah.
How's your week?
Don't make... Oh, God. This week,
Was it rough?
I don't remember.
It go by pretty quick.
I guess it went by really quick. It was weird because it was the end. It's kind of midterms. It was the 8-week mark, and we do 16-week semesters, but some of the classes only go for 8 weeks.
Okay.
So one of them just ended.
So midterm/end term.
Yeah. So half and half. I passed my maternal newborn, which we talked about last week, and then we're starting peds. I got to study for that test. Got a clinical tomorrow.
Oh, fuck.
At a long-term care facility for pediatric patients, so that's going to be fun. And so that class ended. It was one of, like, informatics or whatever. One of those just to get the bachelor degree classes.
Uh-huh.
And I took a gamble. So there were 2 very large assignments, each worth 20% of the grade. One was 4 weeks ago. It was a PowerPoint. Aced it. I only lost like 6 points out of 215.
Ooh.
And then I did a paper that I turned in, and that was kind of like the end of term assignment. And then you have to do discussion posts, and they're kind of like attendance, but if you do other things, those count as attendance. It's kind of like a filler.
Okay.
And the last one, so the last week, I did not do, like, you're supposed to write a post and then reply to other people. Didn't reply to anybody, so I got like 50% on that grade.
It's such
and I was like,
stupid way.
It really is.
Like, every time
So
you've told me
dumb.
about that, I'm like,
It's
that's so
so
fucking
stupid.
dumb.
The whole thing comes from studies about how learning is better when you're discussing it with other people, and the only way to facilitate that,
It's more,
apparently...
more engaging, apparently.
Yeah, but it isn't, because
Yeah.
it's literally the
homework.
dumbest shit that I don't ever think about, and none of the conversations are genuine and go beyond one reply. But, so the last week, the only assignment is that discussion. And I'm sitting here, and I'm looking through, and it ends on Wednesday, the class. So on Sunday, look through, my paper wasn't graded yet. And I was like, if I do like really bad on this paper, I'll have to do this discussion post. Monday, paper hasn't been graded. Tuesday, paper hasn't been graded.
Uh-oh.
Wednesday morning, paper hasn't been graded. And I say, fuck it, I'm not going to do the dumbass discussion post.
Yeah.
Because it's like, discuss 2 things that you learned in this course and how they impact nursing as a whole. And I'm like, God damn, I know about this topic because I had to go through this class, but I don't need to outline it to you.
Yeah.
This is so stupid. So I don't do it. I get the grade on Thursday after the class has ended, and I lost like 5 points out of another 260 or something. So
hell yeah.
I passed.
Fuck 'em.
Passed that class.
Fuck your stupid teaching styles.
Yeah, and then, got another test this week. We'll see
You got it.
if
You
I'm
got
going
this.
to pass this mental health class. Has nothing to do with the content. I know I'm good at it, but let's just say some of the leading figures in this class are more the subject of the class than teaching it.
Oh, fuck, really? Spill that tea, AJ.
Well, I don't know. I know some of my classmates listen to this, actually. But, but let's just say
That's fair.
someone whose official title starts with professor is a little wacky.
little autistic.
Not
artistic.
quite. Artistic, yeah. We did do arts and crafts for Anxiety Day.
He's autistic for mental health.
So it's been fun. How's your week been?
It's been really good. I have officially cracked the case on how to get away with doing my work at the start of my shift and nothing for the rest of my shift.
Hell yeah.
So it's been good. I don't think I should continue doing it. It's my paranoia talking that's like, stop it. They're going to catch you. You got a good thing going. Don't fuck this up. So we'll see. I'll keep gauging it. But I got like a huge congratulations email that was like, oh, you're fucking killing it. Your quality's so good. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing anything for 6 hours of my day.
Dude,
it's been good.
So because of school, I have to do a regular full shift on Saturday as well. And on the Saturday shift, mine's for the first 4 hours, I do stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then so how my work is tracked is we close out these activities that we do when we've completed them. So I'll do like half of my daily quota just immediately and close them out. Then I'll do the other half, complete them, but I won't close them.
That's what I do too.
And then at the end of the day, 10 minutes before I clock out, I go and I close all of them at once. And my excuse is, oh well, I track it. I keep track of what I'm doing.
Yeah,
but I don't want to break the flow and stop. And
it helps with my mental health. At
it helps
the end
me
of the
track
day,
it.
Being able to click complete.
Yeah.
Complete.
Helps me feel like my day is completed, is done, and I can transition into my regular, life.
After this, you got to remind me to tell you about my new dead coworker.
You don't want to talk about that?
I don't. I think it's a little too sensitive and kind of dumpy.
Okay.
I'll talk about it.
No. How about this? We'll be right back. You weren't lying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a dead coworker right there.
Yeah. All right. So, to lead into this episode, obviously this is connected to Yugoslavia's really fucking bad breakup episode from season 5. I've wanted to talk about the Butchers of Bosnia. Mind you, initially I called him the Beast of Bosnia in that episode. Radovan Karadzic.
Rad Boy Crotchet.
Yeah. Rad Boy Crotchet. Karadzic. I talked about him very, very briefly, but it's not going to be a really like big, exciting, crazy moment episode, strictly because I plan on this being about a 5-part series.
Yeah, we're pouring the concrete, the foundation.
Yeah, like we had talked about before, the episode on Yugoslavia and the Yugoslavian Civil War, the genocide, everything that happened, I kind of like it was informative and it was really I thought I put it out very, very well, but there was so much detail that didn't go into it. There are events that are just monumental to history in the 90s, and what Serbians went through, what Bosniak Muslims went through, what Croatians went through. Like it is fucking huge.
And the U.S. education system does not touch it.
Yeah, in like a 4-year time span, things got fucking crazy over there. And I mean, even after, it's carried over for 30 years now, where there's still Bosniak Muslims who are like, yeah, I fear for my life from Serbians in Yugoslavia. And it's fucking crazy. So I sat down today. I was like, I'm going to do the episode. And I started with Ratko. And I got to like the first big event and just went to the Wikipedia just so I could like grace over it. And it was like fucking 15
It's
sections long. I was like, oh, okay. How else do I want to do this? Because originally I'd like written out like a little outline for him. I was like, okay, he took part in this and this and this. And here's like a quote of somebody that went back to one of the sites after. Like I watched a little 30-minute BBC documentary on it. I went all in.
Dang.
And I realized that like it's so much fucking like it's so much bigger and so much more important than just one episode can handle. The way that I explained it to AJ is that me talking about Ratko and Radovan.
Rat Boy and Rat Boy.
Yeah, Rat and Rad. Talking about them and their involvement in the Yugoslavian crisis in one episode would basically be like me sitting down and being like, okay, so there were these two guys, Hitler and Himmler, which it's odd that they have similar names and these two have similar names.
Yeah, interestingly enough.
The consistencies and like the synchronicities in this are actually pretty funny when we get to them. But I was like, you can't just do one fucking episode of their involvement in World War II.
No,
there's so much more.
That's basically half our podcast is just them.
Yeah, every other episode is on those two. Like
every AJ episode, just about is related to those two.
We've become a Jewish genocide podcast and Bosniak Muslim Croatian genocide podcast. That's what we've become now.
That's really it.
We cover from 1937 to 1945 and 1991 to 1995.
Yeah, those are the two main dates.
But yeah, so it's huge, and if you don't like this subject, probably skip the next episode in a couple weeks, I guess.
We'll warn you.
I plan on doing obvious. Like it's not going to be like my regular two-parters where it was the very next episode follows this up perfectly. It's going to be AJ will do his thing and then I'll do the next episode on this, and then AJ will do his thing, and then maybe I'll skip a week and I'll talk about a fucking random heist and I'll get back to it. But this will be a pretty long fucking series of episodes, and it's all fucking crazy content. So bear with me. Like I said, this first one, it's gonna be a little bit boring. It's just backgrounds, really, but it'll be interesting. In 1945, I'm going to start with Radovan
1945, hell yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He was born.
He was, yeah.
On the eve, at the moment Hitler killed himself, he was born.
So 1945 in the Republic of Montenegro in Yugoslavia, Radovan was born. And
he was born that?
Yeah, he was, 100%.
Okay, so Hitler's spirit manifested this into this baby.
Mind you, he was born, he and Ratko were both born into Nazi-occupied Croatia, Montenegro.
Damn,
I shit you not.
What a time to be
I'll talk
born.
about it later. But
no,
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, they would be.
Yeah, so Radovan's father was a cobbler and his mother was a peasant.
Wait, is that a job?
I guess
Is
so.
being a peasant a job?
My favorite was that's what it listed on the wiki. It was like his dad was a cobbler, mother was a peasant. It's like okay, whatever. I had to throw it in there. So
God, that's like you go to Beck's Wikipedia page and his father was an actor and mother was homeless. It's like what? Oh, that's
God.
so weird. God, sometimes that website has some weird
fucking
shit.
Great. I love it. So he grew up pretty much fatherless for the very early
too
part
busy
of his
making
life.
shoes.
No, Papa had actually
Papa
been
Rat?
Yeah, Papa Rat had been arrested by the post-World War communists for being a part of the Yugoslavian army, which was working under a government which had been exiled, which was the Italian fascists who had basically taken over Croatia, Montenegro, most of Yugoslavia. In 1945, during World War II, I think I talked about it a little bit in the last episode, Yugoslavia was separated. And then in 1945, they all came back together to become Yugoslavia. And then, like I had said, in 1992 was when basically all of the countries, Croatia, Yugoslavia, Croatia, fucking Republic of Montenegro, Bosnia of Herzegovina, and Serbia all ended up separating and
they
seeking
split
independence. Yeah. So it's funny that, like, within 50 years, they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to go back to what the Nazis originally wanted, which is us to be separated. And surprisingly, for pretty much all the same fucking reason. So, yeah, like I said, his dad had been arrested for working with a government that was fascist. And the communists were like, go to fucking jail.
Nice. That seems very fascist of them. I'm just gonna say.
So Radovan ended up, like I said, he grew up pretty much well without a dad. I think he had a couple siblings. His mom raised him. She was kind of
didn't really bring in a lot of money for some reason with her profession.
She's a bit of a peasant.
Profession.
Yeah, what I would call a fucking peasant. And surprisingly enough, Radovan ended up studying psychiatry at the University of Sarajevo in 1960, which is big for someone who grew up without a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Dude grew up in a very rough situation.
What you mean?
1945.
1945.
Fucking Yugoslavia.
Yeah. No. That's fine. That's what, like Chicago now?
Yeah, I think so. Now, next, right here, this is my favorite synchronicity with Hitler in World War II. He is a self-proclaimed poet, though he was never successful with his poetry attempts. He claimed he was related to Vuk Stefanović Karadzic, who was responsible for modernizing the Serbian language and ended up translating and transcribing Serbian folktales and, most importantly, the New Testament into Serbian so that Serbians could just be the happiest little Christians reading in their own language. But
nice.
yeah.
So another failed artist.
Yeah, failed fucking artist. Now, Vuk Stefanović was actually well known for his role in the 1829 book, The Serbian Revolution, where he gave his account of the events of Serbia basically seeking their independence and breaking away from Muslim rule. It's fucking crazy. And yeah. I hate it because it is very, very, very easy to shit all over the Serbians. And I know in the other episodes we were like, oh yeah, fuck Serbians. Serbians have also been through a lot of shit.
Oh yeah. No, that's always the case.
But yeah, we also like, as a blanket statement,
yes,
not fuck all Serbians. There were a lot that really did stand up against everything that was going on, but you had Serbian nationalists that were drowning out the voices of the
well,
Serbians.
Yeah, it's just
obviously,
like saying fuck the Nazis, but you also have to acknowledge that there were members of the Nazi Party who smuggled Jews out of the country. Like,
no,
I'm going to say most of them didn't. So that's why I can say fuck the Nazis.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be...
The grand scheme of this, it will be fuck Nazi. Or fuck Nazis and Serbians.
Yeah.
Though
during
I
this time
recognize
period,
that Serbians now are a very different group of people. There are still some stuck in their ways, but Serbia is 100% different. It's a much better place than it was in the early 90s. Early 90s, not a travel hotspot. 2020s, still probably not a very hot travel hotspot. Like I said, he touted being related to this very like famous vilified Serbian historian, and it was later disputed, and everyone was like, okay, yeah, this guy's just full of shit. Now, prior to all of his involvement in politics, he actually went on record and this is one of his nice little poetic moments.
Oh.
He went on record saying, Bolshevism is bad, but nationalism is even worse. Strong words coming from a future nationalist.
Well, I mean, he ain't wrong.
He's not wrong, but
he's a bit of a hypocrite.
but he kind of went.
potentially.
He leaned towards the worst side of that statement.
Well,
is my
yeah.
favorite part. So, he skips out on his mandatory military service.
No, this guy's a coward
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Holy
He
shit.
didn't go to Vietnam, right?
Dude, that's as bad as a young German man who tried to get out of military service by just playing the supply lines out back
I know,
and saying,
dude.
"Oh, I got gassed," when he like fucking slightly inhaled some chlorine, maybe.
Yeah. So
I do that every time
Another-
I try to clear the drain upstairs of my wife's hair. I get a
you
gas
inhale
attacked.
a little bit at Drano, and you're like,
Yeah,
I
I know
can't-
exactly what
sorry.
Hitler went through.
I can't occupy Afghanistan this weekend. So eventually, he ends up heading over, and he goes to Columbia University in New York City, in New York. Sorry, in 1975, and he had been studying brain neurotic disorders and depression for about 5 years up to this point.
That's good.
He gets back to Sarajevo, comes on home, and he starts working at the Sarajevo hospital. He's working
With all these neurotic
Yeah.
mental health histories and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
so he's
yeah,
working
I mean-
in the treatment center at their
That's fine.
psychiatric clinic.
Oh, at the psychiatric clinic.
Yeah.
Are you sure he wasn't a patient there, and
Yeah, I
they
know.
just said he was
Yeah,
working
this is
there?
just part of his
Part of the
history.
treatment?
This, in his words, he said he was working at the treatment
yeah.
clinic. No, so he worked at the treatment center's psychiatric clinic, and during his time there, obviously he's making okay money. I mean, it's not phenomenal, but this is also mental health in the 1970s,
Ooh,
so he's
so-
not making great funds.
Yeah, and he's not researching LSD, so
Yeah. Yeah.
not
So
really doing well.
to bolster his income, he actually starts
Moonlighting.
he starts falsifying psych evaluations and medical records. Now,
Wait, somebody's paying him to do this?
yes, you might be asking yourself, who the fuck would pay for a crooked psych eval?
Wait. So is he clearing people who shouldn't be cleared, or is he making people seem messed up?
Both.
Oh, nice.
So he either had coworkers or people in the health industry, healthcare workers, that would come to him seeking early retirement, and they would be like, "Hey, I just need you to put down that I'm slipping." And he's like, "Okay, cool, yeah,
Hell yeah.
$500, whatever, that's my fee." Or he would work with criminals that were trying to plead insanity, that were on trial.
Nice. What? You know what? What an ethical guy.
Yeah,
Real
what an ethical
stand-up
fucking
guy.
poet,
Yeah, real
So-
stand-up poet.
So he eventually moves into a different hospital, probably because he was pushed out of the Sarajevo
Yeah, he got
one.
caught.
In 1983, in the suburbs, he ends up meeting up with this guy who was like the owner of a mining company, and together they both, I don't know how the fuck they worked
Their last
together.
name was Musk, right?
Yeah, right. So they end up working together. They get a like huge fucking loan from the the Bolshevik fucking agriculture company, more or less, like the Yugoslavian, like the State Department agriculture company, State Department of Agriculture gives them this big fucking loan. I don't know what it was for, but both of these guys are like, okay, cool, we're going to go build homes in this ski resort town. And so they did. And they just fucking took this money, put it there.
That doesn't seem very agriculture.
No, not so much. And that's why a year later, he and his buddy were arrested for fraud.
Yeah, no shit.
So my guess is that he convinced the mining guy to apply for the loan. And then he's like, yeah, just give me like 50-50 because it was my idea to get the loan. And we'll say that it's for building a mining psychiatric business. I don't fucking know.
Maybe like land reclamation for
Yeah,
agricultural use
maybe.
post mining. Like that's always hey,
Yeah.
that's always the scheme. Is if you own a mine and you're getting an agricultural
the
loan,
80s, so...
then you are reclaiming and rehabbing the land around the mine to be used for agricultural purposes. Dude, governments love that shit.
That's my guess.
Makes them look
that
good.
has to be.
It's got to be something like that.
I mean,
right?
it's the 80s. It's the fucking prime time for schemes.
It really is.
So
God, we missed out.
We really did. We could have been millionaires
Yeah.
for about 15 years.
Yeah. For 5-10 years, ooh, we'd be living. I'd DB Cooper it. I'd jump out of an airplane and then die.
Of course.
In the wilderness somewhere.
So they both get arrested for fraud, and they serve just about a year in prison until one of their rich friends comes and bails them out. Now, after the trial,
one of the rich friends who got an early retirement because he fudged his psych papers or something.
One of their rich friends who had access to the fucking agriculture
loan
account.
Yeah. No, they had access to the real estate money from creating the ski town.
Right. So, a year later, like I said, he gets bailed out, and after the trial, during the trial, he gets charged with embezzlement and fraud, and it's listed to serve 3 years. But he avoids the prison time.
Let me guess. Psych evaluation came back bad.
No.
Damn.
I
that would've been
wish.
so good.
He avoids the prison time because they say, well, he already served a year. And so they're like, whatever, like
time
we'll just,
served.
Yeah, time served, and it should have been 2 more years, or it should have been 3 years after, but because he wasn't able to post bail right away, they were like, whatever, that'll work. Your 11 months served will work.
Jesus.
So, this is my favorite part of the whole thing. Shortly after being charged with embezzlement and fraud, he is convinced to start his political career by a friend who later became the Yugoslavian president.
Hell yeah.
Like within a year, that dude becomes Yugoslavian president. And he's like, hey, I know that you have these really strange charges, but I have just a career opportunity for you because all of us have those same charges on our backs.
Hey,
I've got a great club that you just joined.
you schemed the agricultural department out of tons of money. Bruh.
Get a fucking load of this.
Check this out. You're one of us now.
Jesus Christ. We all have the same fucking resume, and none of us served time either.
Hell yeah.
So, he fucking
begins his political
starts
career?
rolling on into to democracy.
Well,
no, he rolls into democracy.
Is it democracy at this point? Wasn't it a communist?
It is at this point.
So it's the post-communist?
Yeah, so it's post-communist in like the 90s. And it's moving towards each one being an independent
splitting
democratic unit.
The big breakup, yeah.
Yeah, so he puts together the Serb Democratic Party. I'm going to call it the SDS from this point forward because
safety data sheet, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's basically like in Serbian, it's party starts with an S. I don't know the fucking word. I'm not going to try to say the words. But
Good.
SDS is the Serbian Democratic Party. So, in 1989 is when they put it all together. And their focus is on Bosnian Serbs and Croatian Serbs sticking together if Yugoslavia decides to fall apart. Because it's the late 80s. We're like 2 years away from everybody pushing to split. Like, there's talks everywhere of this shit.
Like, it didn't happen all at once. It felt like it did, but...
Yeah, it feels like it does in retrospect, but definitely not.
Well, yeah, it's the whole idea that's such a common thing when you're learning about history before you really get into it. It's like, oh, and then the Nazis invaded Poland.
Yeah, it feels like it's like ticks on
missiles.
a sheet.
They're building missile silos in Cuba. Like, it happened all at once. No, it took a decade, if not more, to get there. Like, we've done some of those episodes. I've done a couple where it's like we start off in the early 1800s,
40 years previously,
and then we get. Oh, I did one on the Protocols of the Elders of Zion that started in like 1702.
That went all the way into
and
the
went
90s.
It went into current day.
It's crazy shit.
So I love looking at history from that perspective, where it's not all at once. It took a long time and a lot of conversations to get there.
Yeah, because Yugoslavia, like if you were to look at how similar the white nationalists in the U.S. are handling things, think about where things were fucking 7 years ago, like 2016 before the elections. Think about where everyone is 7 years later, where we are now, where white nationalism is now. And where
quite the
they're
advancement.
pushing, they're now talking about, it's seceding from the fucking Union. And it's like...
It's more the emboldenment of their actions.
Yes.
Like the actual small acts of terrorism that are happening now, where people are emboldened to go shoot up a school or a shopping center or just, targeting electrical infrastructure. It's crazy how far it's advanced just in that short amount of time.
Yeah, and I mean, if you were to look at it just in an article that was like, 2016 to 2023, it would look like a handful of bullet points that would look like everything happened really fucking quickly.
Yeah.
That it was all advanced.
When in reality,
Fast as
it
fuck.
starts...
It's gone on for
at least
a long
with
time.
Reagan,
Yeah.
if not earlier.
Yeah.
Like
These are things that take time. Not everyone goes, hey, fuck Yugoslavia, we're Serbians, and apparently we've always wanted to be doing our own thing.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all at once. But
just today we decided to. Like, it takes a fucking while. So, 1989, they put everything together, more or less for like, we're standing up and we're the Serbian party. Like, we're here for the Serbians who don't have a voice, even though they have a voice and they're the reason why everyone else wants to secede from fucking Yugoslavia. So, in 1991, they created a Serbian assembly which attempts to bring all Serbians together. It's not just the ones in Bosnia and Croatia. It's every single Serbian in all of Yugoslavia, because initially it was, like these 2-3 different places want to secede, and Serbia kind of takes like a major part. And so, if we can rally Serbians in Bosnia, Herzegovina, God damn it, I fucking hate
tough.
it.
It is so tough.
And Croatia, then if you're able to embolden these people, get them fired up, then when everything does secede, you have more power in those areas because of how you plan 3 years ahead.
Yeah.
So, they basically rally all the Serbians together, and they say, when this vote comes, we're going to vote in favor of keeping Yugoslavia together, because together all of these Serbians have way more power than if everything's split up. And ultimately they're doing their best to silence the Muslim Bosniaks and Croatians. That's their main goal, is getting all these people to shut the fuck up. Mainly Croatia, because of what happened during World War II. The big reason, and I didn't know this in the previous episode, but the big reason Serbians and Croatians had such problems was because of all of the fucking genocide that was going on against Serbians in Croatia during World War II, and so many Croatians that were just more or less bystanders. Yeah, you're like, I'm not gonna, like, World War II, I'm not going to stand up to fucking Nazis that are occupying the area.
Yeah, you stand up, you get shot.
Yeah.
You're next. Like,
so there's a lot of animosity between those two, which is why
it's still within his
continued.
Recent history. Like, it's in memory still.
Yeah.
It's very fresh.
Yeah, I mean,
for a
there are
lot of
people that are fucking voting in this election, or that are voting to keep Yugoslavia together, that were in those fucking camps, that their parents were murdered right in front of their eyes. Like, that was less than 50 years ago at this point. It's very, very fresh on people's minds, and Serbians have a lot of anger towards it, which I had no fucking idea. I was reading, and I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Hold on.
Yeah.
No,
Found
it's
and was
fucked.
like, holy shit, okay. So this is like a little prequel to the last episode. So if you want to pop back to the last one, finish this one out and then go back and find out how many things I fucked up. So yeah, they all vote in favor of keeping Yugoslavia together. However, because they're not getting all of the Serbians radicalized and they're not all these Serbian nationalists, you still have people that are like, no, I think that the Muslim Bosniaks should have their own voice. I think that the Croatians should be able to do their own things. I vote for secession. And so it fails. Yugoslavia begins setting everything up for border lines and splitting up. And as soon as it's announced that they're failed, shadow government is made by the SDS.
Nice.
In a referendum.
Dude, that's always a sign of a good, healthy government, is a shadow government underneath. That is controlled by one party.
Yeah, so good. So it was actually a referendum that was found in like secret. Somebody managed to find it, and it is titled "For the Organization and Activity of the Serbian People in the Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Extraordinary Circumstances." What a fucking title.
What a name.
I'm sure in Serbian it's just like 2 words.
Yeah, it's probably awesome, though.
But the focus of this is to use more or less the Yugoslavian People's Army as protection while they coordinate an entire takeover at one of the many like shadow crisis headquarters that they've created at this point. And in January 1992, the SDS writes up the Constitution of the Republic of the Serbian People of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I really need to stop putting that in my notes.
We need a short version. Learn
B and H.
Learn Serbian.
Bosnia and H. That's
and
what I'm just
H.
gonna call it.
No. B and H.
So yeah,
our new podcast.
B and
with
H.
B and H.
So in 1992, they get their constitution writ up.
B and HJ.
B and HJ. That's
the
the
new
one.
podcast.
That's the
Sorry,
fucking pressure points with B and HJ. God damn. It's B and H all over a J. Fuck you.
God. Whoa, we fucked up the logo.
Oh no. We're rebranding.
We're
after
rebranding.
This episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, they put their constitution together, and in it more or less takes over all of the Serbian autonomous areas as well as Croatia, where the Serbians are basically considered the minority due to the genocide against them in World War II. But this constitution over the Serbian people ties in all of these other people. So more or less, it puts it so that they have rights in Croatia. It puts them so they have rights in Serbia and in Bosnia, all over, because they're under the SDS. They're representing every Serbian. That's kind of a weird setup, I know. But it's so that they still have control in every fucking area, is their attempt. And a lot of people of all of these different ethnic backgrounds get together and speak out against this referendum, Serbians included. Like, they're like half of the people that are like, no,
what
this
the
isn't
fuck
fucking
is going
okay.
on?
Yeah. And because, I mean, you're more or less looping in other countries on being able to speak over what you're seceding against. Like, it's fucking bonkers. So, it's not universally loved at all. And regardless, 3 months later, Bosnia and Herzegovina become independent, and they're recognized as such by Europe and the U.S. Radovan becomes a president due to his involvement in the creation of the SDS, and he's immediately put into presidential power.
Hell yeah, that's the democratic
Yeah.
way. Being placed into power.
Placed directly in, and he's...
Did they call him the High Chancellor by any chance?
Right, for real. The Emperor.
Yeah, Emperor
Radovan. And because of how things are outlined in their constitution, he immediately has power over the army. Which they've been fucking setting up for years at this point.
Yeah, that was always the plan.
Yeah. So he begins working very closely with a man I've talked about before, Ratko Mladic.
So Radovan and Ratko.
Yeah, Radovan and Ratko. It sounds like a Disney movie in fucking Serbia.
It's a 90s Disney movie.
So Ratko is the major general over the Yugoslavian People's
He's a
Army.
big bitch.
Yeah, he's a big bitch. So Ratko, we're going to go over his little background. He was born in 1942 in Bosnia, and he grew up also without a father. His dad died in World War II in 1995. In 1945, during the Italian and Nazi occupation of Croatia. However, his father was arrested and killed in an assassination attempt and plan to overthrow the fascist state leader. So Ratko's dad was a fucking like hardcore rebel to the Nazis. He's like, "Oh,
Hell
go
yeah.
fuck yourself, fascists."
Hell yeah.
And Ratko learned absolutely fucking nothing.
He learned nothing from his father.
From his father.
From his father's example.
So-
Fucking nothing. Well, he wasn't there to teach him to not be
Yeah,
a piece
for
of
real.
shit
Yeah, I
fascist. Yeah.
So Ratko starts his military career at 18. He moves into an officer's academy shortly after, which is fast as fuck. Like it's not like, oh, you know, he hops into the military and 2 years later he's in this officer's academy. It's within like fucking months. He pops in and he shows huge promise. And so they're like, yeah, put him in the officer's academy. Fuck
Hell
it.
yeah. Get this man a job.
He joins the Yugoslavian People's Army in 1965 as a fucking commander. Like,
Damn.
the dude comes out the gate swinging. And he's the youngest man in his unit, and he's over everyone in his unit. He becomes a second lieutenant 3 years later. He finished first place in his class with like basically perfect scores.
Damn.
And so he just goes on a fast track to general at that point. In 1986 becomes colonel, 5 years later deputy commander, and then like months after becoming deputy commander, when Bosnia gets its independence, he becomes major general. Ratko and Radovan in 1992.
Dream team. by the
Yeah,
way.
they put all of their focus into the Serbian takeover, and both of them, it's like I said at the start, both of them are synonymous with the title Butchers of Bosnia because of their role in every fucking thing that they did and every decision they made in the Yugoslavian crisis.
Fantastic.
Fucking bonkers.
Dude, the Butchers of Bosnia reminds me of the bitch of Buchenwald.
Yeah, I know.
So much. Every
So
time you
much.
say it, I think you're going to say the bitch of Buchenwald.
Psych.
She was also the butcher of Buchenwald, but it's not as good as the bitch of Buchenwald.
So, like I said, I plan on having the next episode that I do on this will be about Sarajevo, and because that's kind of the ground floor with everything that happens. That's like right as everything happens in 1991 and 1992. Sarajevo is just completely fucked right off the bat.
Yeah, it is.
So I'll be talking about that one in a couple of weeks. But yeah, fucking Yugoslavia and that and the area within all those countries went through some fucking shit, man.
Yeah, they're like, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about it, but I'm also not gonna like overload you guys. The next one will be a lot. So I might take a break after the next one, do something kind of easy peasy, and then we'll get back into it. And then I do plan on doing one of the episodes on Patreon for our exclusive for March. So if you are interested in hearing, it won't be like a monumental episode. It'll just be some bullshit
dicks.
that happened that kind of accentuates what Serbians were doing at the time. By all means, subscribe on Patreon. You got those names pulled up?
Yeah.
I'll do the thing while you're pulling up the
Cool.
names.
Patreon.com/points-o-pressure. I just realized I was talking away from my microphone.
Oh, good. We've got an exclusive episode, one exclusive episode per month that we've been releasing, and that's even during our breaks. So if you miss us during December and June, then here's a way to get an extra episode out of us during those breaks between season and mid-season. AJ has a series Voices up there. We have a bunch of Sloppy Seconds episodes, like 20 plus, and we have some more plans for that. If you can afford it, kick ass. If you cannot, then just listen. Don't feel obligated. We still love and appreciate you guys for fucking being here and putting up with our tomfoolery. So,
all right. Yeah. So we've got the board here. The chair people of the PP. We've got Mini D, Nordic Thunder, Toddle Waddle, and Weston. So they're the big guys.
Hot damn diggity, thank you guys.
They're the big ones up top, and then of course we've got Abby, AJ's third nut, Thomas, Dark Runner, D's nuts, and Laura Revo. Also, if you're gonna join the Patreon, make sure you put your address and your shirt size in there. It'll ask you, but make sure you do that.
Some of the lower tiers don't have shirt size, but regardless,
make sure the address is in there.
That
one's
your
very important.
Is in there. We send some stuff out. So, and if you haven't gotten anything, I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck's going on with it. So no complaints yet, though.
Yeah, nothing yet. So stick around, subscribe, tell people about it.
Yeah.
What's the next part?
It's me. It's
oh yeah, it is your thing.
So as always, if you guys ever have show ideas or you want to just chat about a fucking kick-ass movie you just saw, so I mean, any recommendations whatsoever, music, movies, TV shows, books, articles,
food,
show ideas,
send me your
recipes,
food.
Whatever the fuck you've got. If you have something that you want to share with us, by all means, send it to us at Instagram at pointsopressure, and same with the email ppdnaj. If you need somebody to talk to, reach out there. We'll catch you guys next Monday.